Let us begin by preparing ourselves. Prepare yourself. Do ghosts exist? Are there ghosts? I don't know. I really don't. Although I tell ghost stories, do I know? Do I care? No. I care about the stories that I have experienced, the stories that others have experienced. Now, prepare ourselves right now by looking over your shoulders, looking in back of yourself. Anything there? Anyone? If there's a staircase nearby, do you see anything? You hear anything? It just kind of makes me wonder, as it should you, these ghost stories. And I think what storytelling is all about is making one wonder, making crowds wonder, making just one other person wonder. Here in Berks County, we have a great way of saying it, the old Dutchies. Geez, it makes you wonder, say. Well, it's a magic statement to me, because if we couldn't wonder, what's the point of going on? That's what separates us from lesser creatures of the world. We can wonder, we can imagine. And if we don't have an imagination, we can't use that imagination, what is the point again? Ghost stories and storytelling, I think, is very important to society. It, of course, is an ancient tradition. We gathered around the campfires, the pickle barrels, and we told stories. Now we gather on the internet and swap stories, some growing taller and taller as they are told, but nothing really wrong with that as far as I'm concerned, because again, that's part of the old tradition. But what I intend to do, and I hope you'll come and hear me and see me, is tell some stories you may not have heard, some stories that may give you a little bit of a goosebump sensation, might make you look over your shoulder as I tell those stories, because I'm telling stories at Genesius Theatre. Beautiful little theater in Reading, but it's also haunted by a kindly spirit, a woman named Jane, who put literally her heart and soul into that theater group over the years and into that building. And her spirit still roams that building. I've felt her spirit. I have heard her speaking, her voice echoing within the walls of that lovely theater. Perhaps that day we will too. Nothing will be faked. Nothing will be compromised. I don't do that sort of thing. I don't have to. Because Jane's spirit will be there, as well as the spirits of others who came well before her. They'll be gathered in that theater and may make an appearance audibly, visually, we don't know. That's the magic of it all, though. I will tell stories about a strange creature from the northern woods, the mountains of North Berks County. A creature who was a raven. Ooh, a raven. Just that word makes you wonder, doesn't it? A raven in Berks County, well, of course. But this raven was named Old Schwartz. It means black in German, and he was obviously a black raven, and the old Dutchies up there, and I'm from Hamburg, so I can say old Dutchies, they called him Old Schwartz, or Old Schwartz. He flew amongst the hawks and the other birds around the mountains of northern Berks County, and he was revered by everyone. They could hear him screaming into the day and night, and they could see him soaring majestically over the mountains. Well, one day, Old Schwartz was accidentally, they believe, shot and killed by a hunter. Now, the hunters would never have taken aim on Old Schwartz because of his legendary status. They respected him. He was the old-timer, the master of that mountain. But he was shot and killed. Now, he was so revered, so beloved by the people in northern Berks County that when he was shot, his carcass was retrieved, and it was taken to Hamburg and put on display. This poor dead raven, whose wingspan was something like 40 inches. You can't imagine how large this bird was and how large and majestic it must have been soaring through those mountains. Well, people satisfied themselves to see the carcass of Old Schwartz, and he was stuffed. And legend has it, the stuffed Old Schwartz was actually put on display later on at a museum in Reading. So I will be telling the story, and there's a lot more about Old Schwartz to talk about, and much more of a story about him, and also that entire mountain range in northern Berks County, where there are places like, of course, Hawk Mountain and all the mysteries that surround that. There's Dragon Cave. There's the pinnacle where a fiery dragon is said to lurk. and so many stories of those mountains. So we have the mountains of the north. Then we have that little theater in the middle of the city of Reading. And then all throughout Berks County, on the railroads of Berks County, on the highways of Berks County. I just found out recently about a young woman whose ghost has been seen along the Pricetown Road, a woman who they believe, and it's pretty well established, that she died 2 days after she was married up in the Pricetown area near Fleetwood. And she was struck by a car on the very road that her ghost is now seen. I'll be talking about her spirit and what to expect should you go seeking that spirit, and how to be very careful should you seek that spirit. So yes, the stories are abundant in Berks County. The mysteries, the folklore, the stories that are told and retold. I hope you'll come and hear some of those stories and perhaps share some with me. Sleep tight tonight, everyone.